Okay, we're recording. Hi, everybody. If you're new here, I'm Mia. This is Two Shards.
I'm Natalie.
We talk Cosmere, we talk fantasy, we occasionally spiral into things that are only tangentially related to books. And Natalie has to physically stop me?
That's accurate. Last Tuesday, I had to physically confiscate her phone.
And today we need to talk about something. Like, we need to. I have been
Spiraling.
spiraling for a week! Do you know what I've been doing at 2 in the morning?
Refreshing Reddit.
Refreshing Reddit, reading every single thread, going through every comment section. And I have feelings, many feelings about a thing.
I've been watching you spiral for 6 days. I've been very patient about it, for the record.
And you've been very calm about all of this, which I find personally suspicious, by the way.
I'm not calm. I'm just processing differently than you.
What does that mean?
It means I've been sitting with it since January and I've arrived somewhere, and I'm not sure you're going to like where I arrived.
Okay, that's actually more terrifying than if you were also spiraling.
Yeah,
Are you going to tell me, or are you going to make me suffer first?
I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you. I just need a second because once I say it out loud, it becomes a real opinion and then I have to defend it.
Natalie,
I know.
you have defended the theory that Hoyd is emotionally responsible for every major catastrophe in the Cosmere for 2 years.
That theory is completely airtight.
You once argued for 40 minutes that the way Sanderson describes food in Stormlight is load-bearing to the themes of the whole series.
It is, and I stand by that.
And now you're scared to say an opinion out loud?
This one's different.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Now I'm nervous.
can we... Actually, how far are you in your reread right now?
You are absolutely stalling right now.
I know. Humour me.
Words of Radiance. The part where... Actually, I can't talk about that right now.
Why not?
Because I'll cry and we haven't even gotten to the thing yet.
Which part is it?
The Kaladin part.
There are several Kaladin parts.
The one. You know the one.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Say it!
Okay. Give me one more second.
Natalie.
Okay. I think the Cosmere might be unadaptable.
What?
Okay, wait. Not in the way people say that. Not Hollywood is going to ruin it. Not the wrong people are in charge. I don't mean any of that.
Then what do you mean?
I mean, the thing that makes it great. The actual thing. The reason we've both reread these books multiple times and still find new things. I think that thing is specific to the page. I think it might not survive the screen. Not because of execution. Because of the medium itself.
Okay. No. No.
Mia.
That's not... You can't just say that like it's a normal sentence.
I know. That's why I need a second.
I have been waiting for a Stormlight adaptation since... I don't even know how long. I have thought about who should play Kaladin. I have had opinions about this. Strong opinions. For years.
I know you have.
And you're sitting there telling me it can't work. Not that it might go badly. That it can't work.
I'm saying the version of it that exists in your head. The one you've been building since you first read The Way of Kings. I don't think a screen can hold that. I don't think any screen can.
That's a different thing to say.
Is it?
Yes! Because that's true of every adaptation ever. Every book I love, the movie version is worse. That's just how it works. That doesn't mean you don't make it.
Usually, yeah. But I think the Cosmere has a specific problem that most books don't have.
Which is what?
The best parts of these books happen entirely inside someone's head. Not the battles. Not the magic. The moment where Kaladin is at the bottom of the chasm and you're inside his depression for 100 pages and you feel it because Sanderson puts you there in his skull and there's nowhere else to be. How do you film that? What do you point the camera at?
You! Okay.
Or Vin. The whole first Mistborn book is her learning to trust people for the first time in her life. And you feel it because you're inside every micro moment of doubt. Every time she almost lets someone in and then doesn't. On screen, that's just a girl with a complicated expression.
That's not fair.
I know it's not fair. I'm not happy about it either.
Good actors can do that. That's literally what acting is.
Some of it, yes. But we're talking about 100 pages of internal monologue compressed into what? A scene? 2 scenes? And you have to service the plots at the same time and the magic system and introduce 12 other characters.
Okay, I don't have a counter to that right now, but I feel like I should have one.
That's kind of where I've been for the last few months.
So you've just been sitting with this horrible thought
Pretty much.
by yourself.
By myself.
That's so sad.
Thank you.
I mean it! Okay, no. No, I'm not accepting this yet. I'm not. I think you're wrong. Or I think you're half right and I need to figure out which half. Because I'm not giving up on this.
I'm not asking you to give up on it. I'm asking you to think about what it actually is.
What does that mean?
I mean, what are you actually hoping to see when you watch this show? What does success look like to you?
Okay, that's actually a really good question and I hate it.
I know.
Can we back up? Because I want to understand your actual argument. Like the whole thing. Because right now you've said one thing and I have a lot of feelings and not enough facts to do anything with them.
Yeah. Let's back up. Okay, so let me actually lay this out. Because I've been thinking about it in pieces for months and I think the pieces add up to something that's hard to argue with. Even though I wish they didn't.
Go.
The first thing is the interiority problem. And I know I already brought up Kaladin, but it's not just Kaladin. Think about how Sanderson writes transformation. Not the dramatic kind, not the moment someone gets superpowers. The slow kind. The kind where a character is becoming a different person over 400 pages, and you barely notice it's happening until suddenly you look up and realise, oh, she's not the same person she was in chapter 3. And you can't point to the one scene where it happened because it happened in 1,000 tiny internal moments spread across the whole book.
You're talking about Vin.
I'm talking about Vin. I'm talking about Shallan. I'm talking about Dalinar. I'm talking about basically every character Sanderson has ever written that people actually love. The transformation is gradual and internal, and it works because you're in their head for hundreds of pages. You're hearing the doubt, the almost trusting, the pulling back, the trying again. On screen, you have to externalize all of that. And the second you externalize it, it becomes something else. It becomes a performance of the thing instead of the thing.
Okay, but actors do that. That's literally the craft. You look at someone like, I don't know, think about the best performances you've ever seen. Someone communicating an entire internal world without saying a word.
And how long does that moment last? 10 seconds? A minute? The reason Sanderson's character work hits so hard is that it's not a moment. It's a sustained experience. You live inside Kaladin's depression for 100 pages in words of radiance, not a scene. 100 pages. You feel the weight of it accumulate. You feel the days blurring together. You feel him not wanting to get up, and it's devastating because of the duration. Because Sanderson doesn't let you escape it. A show can give you a scene of a man staring at the ceiling. Maybe 2 scenes. Maybe a montage. But a montage of depression is not the same thing as experiencing depression for 100 pages. The medium compresses what the book expanded, and the expansion was the entire point.
Yeah.
And that's just one character. Multiply that by every major arc in Stormlight alone. Dalinar's entire journey in Oathbringer, the flashbacks, the slow reveal of what he did, the shame, the guilt, the way Sanderson holds back the worst of it, until you're deep enough in that it genuinely horrifies you. That's a structural trick that works because of how a book controls pacing. You can't turn the page faster than Sanderson lets you. A TV show doesn't have that control. The audience sees the actor's face, and they already know something terrible happened before the show is ready to tell them.
That's actually a really specific point, and I hate that it's good.
Sorry.
No, but hold on. Because I want to push back on something. You keep saying the medium can't do this, the medium can't do that, but what about all the things the medium can do that the book can't? Because here's where I get frustrated with this argument. When I read the bridge force scenes and when they're running the bridges and Kaladin is screaming and arrows are coming down and men are dying, I feel it on the page, yes. But I also know what that would look like on screen. And it would be devastating. The sound, the chaos. The way a camera can put you in the middle of that and make you physically flinch. Books can't do that. Sanderson does an incredible job, but there are things that film does that prose literally cannot.
I agree with that.
And, okay, wait, you agree?
Of course I agree. Film is better at spectacle, at immediacy, at sound design, at the visceral. A high storm on screen would be one of the most stunning things in television history if they do it right. The Battle of Thaylen Field could be incredible. The moment Kaladin says the words and the Stormlight hits, visually, that could be transcendent.
So then why are you...
Because that's not what makes the Cosmere. Those are the peaks. Those are the payoff moments. But the reason those moments land is because of everything that came before them. The 500 pages of internal struggle that made that one moment of catharsis feel earned. If you film the catharsis without the slow burn that preceded it, you get a cool action scene. You don't get the thing that made us cry. Think about it. Why did you cry when Kaladin said the words?
Because I'd been inside his pain for so long and he finally...
Exactly. You'd been inside it. Not watching it. Inside it. For hundreds of pages. That's what made the release feel like release. A show gives you maybe 2 episodes of setup before the big moment. That's not the same thing. The ratio is wrong. The weight is wrong.
Okay. You're making me really sad.
I know. I'm making myself sad too.
But I still think... I don't know. I think you're describing a problem, not an impossibility. Like, Game of Thrones managed to make people care about characters through screen time. Not interiority, screen time. You just spend enough time with someone and you start to...
And Game of Thrones had a massive advantage the Cosmere doesn't have.
Which is...
Martin writes externally. His characters reveal themselves through dialogue and action and political manoeuvring. You don't need to be inside Tyrion's head to understand Tyrion because everything Tyrion thinks, he says. He says it cleverly and entertainingly, and that translates directly to screen. Sanderson doesn't write like that. His characters are often quiet on the outside and volcanic on the inside. Kaladin doesn't deliver witty monologues in the Great Hall. He stands on a bridge in the rain and thinks about dying. That is a fundamentally different kind of character to adapt.
Oh, God.
What?
No, I never thought about the difference between Martin and Sanderson that way, and now I can't unthink it.
Welcome to where I've been living for 3 months.
That sounds miserable.
It is. It genuinely is. Because I want this to work. I'm not rooting against it. I've imagined Dalinar on screen too. I've thought about Rashar, realised in live action. The chasm fiends. The shattered plains. I want all of that. But wanting it to work and believing it can work are different things, and I keep running into the same wall.
Which is what?
That the Cosmere's greatest strength is something that only the page can do. The sustained interiority. The slow transformation. The way Sanderson uses length as a narrative tool. Those aren't flaws to be worked around. Those are the defining features of why these books matter. And you either lose them in translation or you don't. And I don't see how you don't.
I want to argue with you, but I need a minute because you framed it in a way that I can't easily counter, and I'm upset about that.
Take your time.
Oh, don't be generous about it. That's worse. Okay. Here's what I want to do. I want to go through specific things. Specific books, specific scenes, specific moments. Because I think you're making a strong general argument, but I think when you get into the specifics, some of them actually could work. And maybe the answer isn't, it's all unadaptable. Maybe the answer is, some of it translates and some of it doesn't, and the question is whether the parts that translate are enough.
That's actually a much better framing than mine.
Ha! See? I do have thoughts. They just take a minute to get here.
Okay, let's do it. Specifics.
Okay. Mistborn. Start there. Because I actually think Mistborn might be the one that works.
Why Mistborn?
Because it's a heist. The whole first book is a heist movie. You've got a crew, you've got a plan, you've got a charismatic leader who's putting the team together, you've got the young recruit learning the ropes. That's Ocean's 11 meets fantasy. That translates. Tell me that doesn't translate.
I actually can't argue with that as strongly as I want to. No, you're right. The structure of the final empire is probably the most screen-friendly thing Sanderson has ever written. The heist format gives you external momentum. You've got Cosmere being charming and scheming out loud, which solves the dialogue problem I was just talking about. You've got Allomancy, which is, visually, pushing and pulling metal, coin shots launching through the mist, steel lines everywhere. That could be stunning.
It would be so good.
It could be. But here's where I start worrying again. Because the heist is the plot of Mistborn. It's not the heart of Mistborn. The heart of Mistborn is Vin. And Vin's arc is exactly the kind of internal transformation we were just talking about. A girl who has been abused and abandoned learning, slowly, painfully, over the whole book, to trust one person. And then another. And then a whole crew. And then a cause. That's not a heist arc. That's a coming-of-age arc happening inside a heist wrapper. And the coming-of-age part is almost entirely internal.
Okay, but you could show that through her relationships. Like, you don't need internal monologue if you can show the moments. Show her flinching when someone reaches for her. Show her sitting at the edge of the crew's table, not quite part of the group. Show her the first time she laughs with them and doesn't catch herself. Actors can do that.
They can. And honestly, if any Cosmere story could pull that off, it's probably Final Empire, because Cosmere is there to externalize a lot of it. He's the one pulling her in. He talks to her. He pushes her. He believes in her out loud. So you have a character whose job is basically to narrate Vin's growth through his relationship with her. That helps. That helps a lot.
So Mistborn works?
Mistborn might work. Book 1. Maybe book 2. But then you hit Hero of Ages and...
And what?
How do you end that trilogy on screen? Because the ending of Hero of Ages is one of the most ambitious things Sanderson has ever done. You've got the cosmological reveal, you've got Sazed's crisis of faith resolving in a way that reframes the entire series, you've got Vin's sacrifice, you've got... It's so many threads converging at once, and half of them are philosophical. Like, the emotional climax of that book is a man sitting in a room reading religious texts and realizing that all of them were true at the same time. That is not a cinematic moment. That's a literary moment.
Okay, yeah, that's a problem.
I love that ending more than almost anything Sanderson has written. And I genuinely don't know what a camera does with it.
But Vin's sacrifice could work. That part
could absolutely work. That part is visual. That part is devastating and clear, and you could film it and it would destroy people. But it lands because of everything Sazed's arc does around it, and Sazed's arc is the one I don't know how to translate.
Okay. What about Stormlight? Because that's the one everyone actually cares about the most, right? That's the main event.
Stormlight is where I lose sleep. Because Stormlight has every problem I've described, and then adds the scale problem on top. The Way of Kings is over 1,000 pages. And honestly, not a lot happens in The Way of Kings. I love it. It's one of my favourite books. But from a screenwriting perspective, the first book is almost entirely set up. Kaladin is a slave. Shallan is trying to steal a soulcaster. Dalinar is having visions no one believes. And all of those storylines are moving slowly and building toward a climax in the last 200 pages. How do you pitch that to a studio? The first season, not much happens, but trust us, season 4 is incredible.
When you put it like that...
And here's what scares me most. The thing the show will probably do, because it's what every adaptation does, is compress. Speed things up. Cut the slow parts. Get to the action faster. And every single thing they cut from that slow build is load-bearing. Every scene of Kaladin in the bridge cruise that feels like nothing is happening is actually the weight that makes the climax feel like catharsis. You cut the weight, you lose the catharsis. You keep the weight, you lose the audience. That's the trap. That's the actual trap.
Okay, wait. I want to think about a specific scene because I think this is where your argument might crack. The scene at the end of Words of Radiance. You know the one. The duel. Where Kaladin steps into the arena and everything that's been building for 2 books just arrives. The first time I read that scene, I literally stood up. I was on my couch and I stood up because my body couldn't contain what I was feeling sitting down. Now tell me a camera can't do that.
A camera could absolutely do that.
Thank you.
That scene is cinematic. It was always cinematic. Sanderson wrote it like a movie. The rhythm of it, the way the tension builds, the moment the Stormlight ignites, you could film it almost exactly as written and it would work.
So some things do translate.
Some things translate. The question is whether you can get an audience to sit through the 600 pages of build-up that makes that moment feel the way it felt to you. Because if you skip the build-up and just give them the arena scene, they'll think, oh cool, a fight scene. They won't stand up off their couch.
Okay, I really hate that you keep being right about the build-up thing.
I hate it too.
Do you though? Because you seem very comfortable being right about this.
I'm not comfortable. I'm resigned. There's a difference.
That's the saddest thing you've ever said on this podcast.
We've done 1 episode.
And it's already the saddest. Okay, I've been listening to you build this case for, I don't know, half an hour. And I've been nodding and agreeing and saying, okay, yeah, that's a good point, and I need to stop doing that. Because I think you're wrong.
Go on.
Not about the specific things. The interiority thing is real. The scale thing is real. The Says thing is a genuine problem. I'm not arguing any of that, but I think you're making a mistake that you make a lot, and I mean this with love.
Oh no.
You are treating this like a puzzle with a correct answer. Like if you line up enough structural problems, you've proven something. But adaptation isn't math. It's not, does every element survive the translation? It's, can you make someone feel something? And those are really different questions.
Okay, that's actually a much harder thing to argue against than anything you've said so far.
Good. Because I mean it. Think about every adaptation you've ever loved. Not respected, loved. The ones where you walked out of the theater or finished the last episode and you felt full. Did any of them perfectly translate the source material?
No.
No! None of them did. Because that's not what makes an adaptation work. What makes an adaptation work is when it finds the feeling of the thing and rebuilds it in the new medium. Not copies it, rebuilds it. And that's a creative act, not a technical one. You can't calculate whether it'll work. You can only watch someone try.
But that's exactly what terrifies me. You're asking me to trust that someone will find the feeling. And the track record for fantasy adaptations finding the feeling is not great.
The track record before Game of Thrones was basically 0. And then someone found the feeling and it changed television. Before Peter Jackson, the track record for adapting Tolkien was a cartoon that no one took seriously. And then someone found it. The fact that most people fail doesn't mean the thing is impossible. It means it's hard. And hard is not the same as unadaptable.
The Peter Jackson comparison is interesting though, because he proved my point and yours at the same time. He found the feeling? Absolutely. Fellowship of the Ring is one of the best adaptations ever made. But he also changed enormous amounts of the source material. He cut Tom Bombadil. He restructured the timeline. He gave Arwen a bigger role. He turned Faramir into a completely different character. Tolkien purists hated those changes. And the movies were still great. But they were great because Jackson understood that faithfulness to the text is not the same thing as faithfulness to the spirit.
Yes! That's exactly...
But here's where the Cosmere gets complicated. Because if you change Sanderson's structure, if you cut the slow build, if you compress the interiority, if you externalize what was internal, you're not cutting Tom Bombadil. You're not removing a side quest. You're removing the load-bearing architecture. The slow build is the spirit. At least, I think it is. And that's where we actually disagree, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
You think the spirit of the Cosmere is the emotional payoff, the moments, the catharsis. And as long as the adaptation makes people feel those moments, it's done its job.
Yes.
And I think the spirit of the Cosmere is the journey to those moments, the weight you carry before the release. And if you lose the journey, the moments are just moments. Beautiful, maybe, but hollow. We're literally having the journey before destination argument, aren't we?
Oh God, we are.
Sanderson would be very smug about that.
He would be smug about that. He'd put that in an epigraph somehow. Okay, but here's why I still land where I land. I have watched people who have never read a single Sanderson book fall in love with fantasy through a screen. I have a friend. She doesn't read. Like, at all. She watched Game of Thrones and it broke her open. She cried over characters she'd never read a word about. She felt those deaths. She felt those betrayals. Not because she'd spent 500 pages with them. Because the show found a way to make her care in 10 episodes. And if someone can do that with Martin, someone can do that with Sanderson. And if someone can do that with Martin, someone can do that with Sanderson. Maybe it can't be. But it can be its own thing. And its own thing might still be extraordinary.
I want to believe that.
Then believe it.
It's not that simple. Because I've seen what happens when it goes wrong. I sat through 3 seasons of Wheel of Time watching Robert Jordan's world get, not ruined exactly, but reduced, flattened. All the complexity and the slow world building and the sense of a living history compressed into something that moved fast enough for streaming but lost everything that made it feel vaster. And Sanderson was right there. He was in the room. He sent notes. They didn't listen. And that's the show where the author had a relationship with the production. So when people tell me, but Sanderson has unprecedented control this time, I've heard that before. I've seen what control actually looks like when a studio has a premiere date and a budget meeting and a streaming algorithm to satisfy.
But this is different. He walked away from the last deal. He waited 5 years. He's writing the Mistborn screenplay himself.
And I hope that's enough. I genuinely do. But hope is not evidence. And the evidence I have from Wheel of Time, from Witcher, from Rings of Power, from every ambitious fantasy adaptation that started with good intentions, the evidence says this is really, really hard. And the Cosmere might be the hardest version of this that anyone has ever attempted.
So where does that leave you? If you could talk to Sanderson right now, would you tell him not to do it?
No, I wouldn't tell him not to do it. Because the alternative is that these books never reach the people who don't read. And there are millions of people who would love the Cosmere if they could access it. And maybe the adaptation won't be what I imagined. Maybe it'll lose things I consider essential. But if it introduces one person to Kaladin, or Vin, or Dalinar, and that person goes and reads the books because of it, then it did something the books couldn't do on their own. And that matters.
That's the most optimistic thing you've said this entire episode.
Don't get used to it.
Too late. Okay. So where are we? Because I feel like we've been going in circles and also somehow arrived somewhere.
I think we arrived at... We disagree on what makes the Cosmere, and we're both terrified for slightly different reasons.
That's accurate. Can I say something that might sound dumb?
You've never let that stop you before.
Rude, but fair. I think, regardless of what happens with the show, the books don't change. Like, Whatever Apple does or doesn't do, the books are still there. Kaladin is still standing on that bridge. Vin is still trusting Kelsier for the first time. Dalinar is still choosing to be better. Those moments exist. They're already real. No adaptation can take them away.
Ooh, yeah. That's not dumb at all.
Ha! Thank you.
No, I mean it. That's actually the thing I keep forgetting when I spiral about this. The worst case scenario isn't that the Cosmere is ruined. The worst case scenario is that there's a mediocre TV show that some people watch and forget about. The books survive either way. Sanderson's legacy isn't a streaming deal. It's the work. It's always been the work.
And the best case scenario is that millions of people who would never pick up a 1,000-page book discover something that changes how they see fantasy. And then they read the books. And then they understand what we've been talking about this whole time.
The pipeline.
The pipeline! Show to books. That's the dream.
You know what's funny? I came into this episode convinced I had an airtight case for why this couldn't work. And I still think the structural problems are real. I haven't changed my mind about any of that. But I think I was asking the wrong question.
What do you mean?
I was asking, can you faithfully adapt the Cosmere? And the answer to that might genuinely be no. But the better question is, can you make something worthwhile out of trying? And I think the answer to that is probably yes. Maybe. If anyone can, it's Sanderson. Which I realise sounds like exactly the kind of blind faith I was arguing against 20 minutes ago.
It does. And I'm choosing not to point that out because I'm being generous.
You're pointing it out right now.
Only a little.
Okay, I want to make a bet.
Oh?
When the Stormlight show comes out, however long that takes, we watch it together. And if there is a single scene, one scene, that makes me feel even half of what I felt reading the books, you win. I'll admit it, on this podcast. In front of everyone.
And if it doesn't?
Then I get to say I told you so for the rest of this show's existence.
That could be years.
I'm aware.
Deal.
Deal.
I think next week we need to talk about something lighter because you have emotionally drained me.
I emotionally drained you. You're the one who almost cried about Kaladin 3 separate times.
I did not almost cry.
Your voice broke. I heard it.
My voice did not... Okay, maybe once.
Twice.
Once. And it was about the arena scene, which is an objectively emotional...
I'm just saying, maybe next week we should talk about something where you're less likely to...
Don't finish that sentence. Okay, actually, next week, I've been thinking about something. And I think it might be a whole episode because I have a take that I think is going to make you genuinely upset.
What is it?
I think Shallan might be the best written character in the Cosmere and nobody gives her enough credit.
Oh, we are absolutely doing that episode.
Thought that might get you.
I have notes. I have so many notes about Shallan.
Save them. Next week.
Next week?